Previously on The Assassin Who Returned as the Duke's Son, Thalian was invited to a banquet hosted by the imperial family. That night would later be known as the Banquet of Blood, a night where many lives were taken by the hands of ambitious young nobles. Among those who perished was his sister, the one who had sacrificed herself in his past life. But this time, he's ready to change everything, or at least most of it. Disclaimer: everything you're about to witness is a work of fiction. Do not attempt or imitate any violent or dangerous actions you may hear. With that said, let's dive into the story. Celine searches for them at the gathering. She looks a little annoyed. She put in the effort to invite them after all. A maid approaches the princess. It's Anna introducing herself. Although Celine already recognizes her, she welcomes her to the banquet. Anna compliments her kindness and hopes the protagonist notices it too. Celine is surprised that Anna knows Thalian. She nearly faints when she finds out Anna was with him yesterday. Her reaction is painfully obvious. Anna knows exactly what's going on. She realizes the princess is in love with the protagonist. Celine can't help but blush at the thought. Suddenly, a loud crash silences the room. Panic spreads like wildfire. A hitman has just executed one of the guests, right in front of everyone. Celine and Anna freeze in shock. The assassin's gaze lands on Celine. His true target is clear. The princess is in danger. Meanwhile, Mia is introducing herself to Emily. Emily can't believe Thalian has a new maid, one who's younger and prettier than her. She scolds the protagonist for leaving her behind. Thalian quickly realizes Asha was the one who invited her to this gathering. Emily, however, believes his brother had good intentions. She assumes it was a job offer. He listens carefully as she explains. A few days ago, she was invited to be Ashel's personal maid, but she refused. She needed to be free for when her real master returned. Thalian processes everything. He orders his knight to watch over both of them. In his past life, Emily wasn't at the estate when the tragedy occurred. He knows Ashel has been scheming ever since he discovered his spy. But now he's furious. His deranged brother dares to target the people he cares about, and that is something he will never allow. As he turns to leave, Emily remembers something important. She shows him a gift from Ashel. A ribbon. She was supposed to deliver it to his new maid, but as she holds it, she catches a scent. Something sharp. Her dragon senses heighten instantly. At the palace, Ashel reports to the prince. Everything is going according to plan. The prince smirks, satisfied with their work. They take pride in what they've set in motion. A tragedy about to unfold. A perfect piece in their grand scheme. And the tool they've used and will continue to use, Boris. All of this just to shatter the Empire's peace, just to feed their insatiable thirst for power. Back in the banquet hall, Celine helps evacuate the guests. She notices Anna trying to help as well. She appreciates the effort. The guards attack the assassins, but more of them emerge, stronger and with hostages in hand. Their cruelty shakes the room. Fear spreads. The captain of the guards turns, and his blood runs cold. These are not ordinary foes. They are high-ranking demonic beasts. His heart sinks. Why are they here? He clenches his fists, tears threatening to fall. They can't win this. But then one of the beasts is cut down. The instructor steps forward. She orders the evacuation to continue. The captain stares in disbelief. Lily stands firm, but before he can react, a shadow moves behind him, a strike aimed at his back. But Alice intercepts. With a single precise slash, she eliminates the attacker. The two of them take control of the battlefield. They tell the guards to focus on the evacuation. But then they notice something. The beasts are ignoring them. Their real target, the princess. Celine is frozen in place. Lily shouts, "They're after you!" Just as the beasts launch their attack, the captain intercepts with his sword. His duty is clear, to protect her, but he doesn't escape unscathed. A deep gash bleeds across his body. He staggers, his strength fading. Celine watches in horror. The beast finishes him off. The captain falls to his knees. Before her, Celine's breath catches. Her hands tremble. This is her fault. Anna reacts instantly. She casts a spell, combining water and wind. Her magic severs the beast's limbs. Celine watches in awe. A second-year student? Combining elements so effortlessly? Anna urges her. They have to leave the captain behind. They have to go. Celine hesitates, but the beast is preparing another attack. The knights rally around her. They will not let their captain's sacrifice be in vain. She clenches her fists. She won't waste this chance. She won't waste this chance. She rushes to Anna's side. She will never forget this moment. As the knights fight, she casts a protective spell, a temporary mana shield for their armor. Their enemies' poisoned blades will still be deadly, but this should give them a fighting chance. She gives them one final order. "Don't you dare die!" The knights nod, grateful, determined. They charge forward, breaking through their enemies. The demonic beasts roar in fury. They retaliate, trapping the knights. Killing some, Alice responds with ice magic, a deadly counterattack. As they run from the scene, she quickly introduces herself, and they keep moving. The beasts are truly dangerous. Lily is left alone with the monsters. She had been fighting like an instructor. Careful, composed. But now, that no longer matters. She unleashes the 8 petals technique to strike them down. The knights who are still alive rise to continue the battle. One of the subordinates charges forward, but the instructor is faster. She takes him down instantly. She demands they stay on guard. The princess must live. As they rush through the palace halls, Celine's mind races. She wonders about Thalian's sister and if he is okay. Suddenly, a monster bursts through the floor. They freeze in disbelief. There are more of them here too? Alice hesitates. She doesn't know if she can take it down alone. It's a high-ranking beast. The princess casts Chain Trap. Anna unleashes Flame Spear. Their magic aids Alice in the attack. She watches them fight alongside her, and it fuels her resolve. The beast throws its first punch. The sheer force shatters the surroundings. Alice casts Barrier, a quick maneuver. Then, just before she strikes, she recognizes it, an Everflame. Her stance shifts. She prepares her next move. She will make it regret appearing before her. She unleashes Waterblade. Meanwhile, in the Grand Hall, Lily walks among the corpses of the fallen subordinates. But as she nears the last one, a bad feeling washes over her. Then she realizes it. They are puppets. The dead, brought back through forbidden magic. She clenches her jaw. This spell isn't easy. It requires an immense amount of mana and time for each corpse. There's no way a single person could have done this alone. But why? What's the purpose of such a sinister act? Elsewhere, more puppets fall, struck down by Emperor Valtherian himself. He sighs, grateful for the warriors at his side, unaware that they are the ones responsible for this chaos, driven by their own ambitions. One of them extends a hand to him, a false gesture of goodwill. Louis watches. He places a hand on the Emperor's shoulder, helps him stand. With a smirk he whispers, "We will be by your side. Always." Back with Alice's group, the high-ranking beast lies defeated, but something is off. Alice senses it. How do they always know exactly where they are? The attacks don't stop. More puppets appear. Emily approaches Brian, showing him the ribbon. His gut twists. He does not like this. His brother has never sent the young master a gift. Observing it closely, he realizes their hatred runs far deeper than just sibling rivalry. Mia's voice cuts through his thoughts. "We need to run. She knows something dangerous is coming." Emily notices Maya's eyes have changed. She wants to know why. Then, a massive explosion. The far wall collapses. Brian tenses. He shouts for Emily to fall back. A high-ranking monster looms before them. Everyone scrambles to escape. Even Nephilis, the notorious pervert, manages to slip out ahead of the others. But he doesn't expect trouble at the entrance. More subordinates block the way. He needs to get out. He needs to survive. He needs to see his beloved maid again. Just thinking about her excites him. He turns to a nearby guardian. Are the back exits safe? No answer. He scowls, unsatisfied. And then a puppet strikes. A deadly blow, straight to his head. The entire room watches in horror, frozen, because they know they're next. Someone feels a drop of water touch their skin. It's water explosion. Alice signals to Anna. Time to strike. Anna casts ice magic. Their combined attack wipes out the subordinates. The knights and nobles witness it all. Awestruck, Alice steps forward, introduces herself. Alice, Everflame. Then she declares, "This isn't over yet." A knight checks on them. Alice is fine. But Anna, she looks weak. She's exhausted from the spell. The knight worries. Another attack is bound to come. He can see it in her face. Anna won't allow herself to be saved if the princess isn't safe. The royal knights take formation. They will protect them. Alice issues her next order. The guardian knights shield the nobles. The royal knights protect the princess. And Alice, I'll hold the line for as long as I can. She still suspects something. How do the beasts always find them? She braces for another fight. The reason behind their precise tracking, the gifts they received. Meanwhile, Guardian Knight Brian shields them from the beast. Emily stares in terror. Brian knows something very wrong is happening. High-ranking monsters. Why are they here? This is it. Time to fight. Without the protagonist by their side, he is the only one who can protect them now. Emily stays close. The beast is furious. Brian readies himself. The monster swipes. He dodges another attack. He dodges again. Each move. A desperate effort to keep them safe. Then, the beast lunges to bite him. For a moment, Brian is convinced he won't survive. But then, Mia steps in. She clashes with the demon. Brian and Emily stare, shocked. They don't understand what just happened. Then they see her. A human dragon. A radiant aura surrounds her. Mia. The night stretches on. The battle rages. More puppets, all targeting the princess. She channels her magic, grants extra protection to the knights defending her. Alice fights at her side. Celine knows they won't last much longer. They're running out of strength. Just like her, the knights are reaching their limits. She lands a powerful strike on one of the subordinates. Their mask falls off, and she sees it. Puppets. Dark magic. A thought crosses her mind. The opposite of darkness. The light god, Lumendel, and his divine magic. She needs someone who wields light magic. Her answer is clear. She turns to the princess. Celine. Wrap me in your light magic. She tells her that if she does, the knights will be left without a shield. But they reassure her they can hold out a little longer. She nods and blesses Alice with her light. Even though it's difficult to merge mana, she'll do it anyway. She becomes a major threat to the undead, risking herself for everyone. Meanwhile, as she walks past the corpses, she realizes they're just puppets. She knows who's helping Ashel. Karam wonders, who could be using such ancient magic? Thalian, understanding this technique, explains about the stunning stones, the ones attracting the beasts. Karam feels the mana of the stunning stones nearby. Thalian states they must move forward, but first he wants to change. Back with Alice, she and her mana spirit prepare to fight. They watch as their friend begins merging her mana with her element. Something that shouldn't be possible. She can't keep this up for long. It has to stop. Otherwise, her body will break. Alice's spirit questions her sacrifice, but Alice believes it's the only way. The spirit sighs, filled with sorrow. She helps her, thinking how cruel fate is for a girl blessed by the kingdom of Fruina. Alice unleashes her power, destroying several puppets. Celine and Anna watch in awe, but some of the puppets begin to rise again. The princess begs her to stop, but Thalian's sister is determined to keep going. The guards and nobles watch, witnessing Alice's next spell, the Spirit King's ultimate magic, Rongomiant. And just as she's about to unleash it, Thalian interrupts her. The spirit, Alice, the girls, none of them expected this. A powerful man stops the attack. Alice wonders if he's another puppet, but his aura feels different. She questions the fog around him. And suddenly, she can't move. His strength is overwhelming. He stares at her. She tries to escape, fighting the creeping fear inside her. Marion, her spirit, thinks this is the end. But then, Thalian lets her go. She collapses, completely drained. Marion fades away, leaving her final words. You will always be welcome in the kingdom of Fruina. They watch. He blocked the mana, canceling the spirit's manifestation, confused by his identity. They begin to panic. The enemy is closing in, but Thalian avoids their attacks easily and counterattacks, striking them all down. Alice never expected him to be on their side, yet in the middle of the battle, she confirms her suspicion. They ignore him. The creatures are drawn to something stronger. She calls out to Karam, "Find that strange mana." Karam feels something from the princess. They have to lure the beasts away. She casts a spatial magic spell, creating distance, and with fog domain, dark mist engulfs everyone. The guards try to keep people calm. The puppets freeze in place. Alice watches. The fog is consuming them until they disappear entirely. Now, they are alone. No more subordinate. Alice needs to know who he is. Suddenly, Anna collapses. Alice rushes to help, but Thalian appears behind Celine. She freezes in terror. Everyone notices, but no one can do anything. The princess is a hostage. Her heart races. She knows him. Then, Thalian cuts her necklace with a dagger. Panic spreads. The guards move to protect her, but one is instantly frozen by the mist. Unable to move a muscle, the masked man approaches Anna. Celine begs him not to hurt her. Then, she sees him do something to Anna. Furious, she attacks, unleashing her light magic, striking through Thalian. But it's just his fog silhouette. His voice echoes through the air. He doesn't want to harm them, and he explains why he destroyed the necklace. He tells them the path they should take to escape. As the mist begins to clear, Celine asks about Anna. Alice reassures her. She's fine, but they need to leave now. Their safety is the priority. Celine will think about him later, but something deep inside tells her it was Thalian. Meanwhile, the high-ranking beast is defeated by Mia. Emily and Brian stand in shock. They can't believe what they're seeing. Her true form revealed. The author takes us back to Thalian's past life. During the incident that night, countless people were slaughtered, and Princess Celine was blamed for seeking the throne. Thalian deduced it was all caused by the stone. He tells Kaiman, after the incident, the wrong people were celebrated as heroes. They stand atop a building reflecting on the horrors of that night. Thalian, full of regret, remembers what he helped cause. After their conversation, they prepare to leave. But before that, he tells her what bothered him about the princess necklace. The smell. It was the same scent he sensed from his maid, Emily. He can't believe she had one, too. Meanwhile, Mia is intrigued by Emily's scent. Emily, terrified, clings to Brian's back. She doesn't recognize Mia. She's never seen her like this before. But for some reason, Mia wants to go after Lady Emily. She must stop her, but she can't hurt the girl she once cared for. Mia doesn't think the same, and she attacks. A shocking moment. Neither of them can strike her, but the one who takes the hit is Thalian. The scene shifts. The impact cushions them. Everyone stares, stunned, at his convenient arrival. He orders them proceed with the plan. Karam takes the ribbon, throws it to the ground, and destroys it. Once it's done, he turns to Mia, tells her to regain control. At the mention of her father, she snaps back to reality. Tears spill down her face, crying for what she did, for the wound she caused. Thalian reassures her. It didn't hurt. Don't worry, but she is inconsolable. Brian and Emily, looking back at the disaster, just want to get out of there. Meanwhile, Louie didn't expect to find an empty hallway, something that pleased Valtherian, but not the younger men. The Emperor suddenly hears his daughter's voice. He turns and sees her running toward him. Relief floods his face. He embraces her once more. She immediately checks if he's hurt. He reassures her he's fine. He believes he was safe because of them. Seeing her alive, her brother pretends to be happy. Though she has many questions for him, she knows now is not the time. Alice greets the Emperor. He tells her she will be rewarded for saving his daughter. Meanwhile, Celine notices her brother whispering with Ashel. She wonders what they're plotting, and almost immediately she finds out. They're planning to blame Anna for everything. They'll put her on trial, condemn her for a crime she didn't commit. Alice is shocked. The two of them, they sound so certain. But the Emperor and Celine immediately shout, "They're wrong." Louis, however, stands firm, confident in his false accusations. Anna demands proof. Ashel steps in. He claims he detected a strange aura from the very place she was staying. The Emperor hesitates. Louis takes advantage of this. He promises to present evidence, if given time. The Emperor allows it. Celine is powerless to stop it. Louis smirks. He knows he's getting away with it. Time passes. Anna is imprisoned, along with the group of mages, for investigation. Leximus works with the royal guards to protect the nobles. The Empire mourns for those lost that night. The author reminds us the protagonist saved many more lives than in his past life, but still, that night remains known as the Banquet of Blood. Elsewhere, Thalian receives treatment for his wounds from his sister. She clearly believes he ran away from the scene. She tells him about the mysterious man who saved her life. Then she notices something. The height of the mystery man was the same as her brother's. She also notices that Thalian has gotten into shape. He flinches, embarrassed. He jumps out of bed to escape her teasing. Just then, Ashel arrives. He smirks, mocking how jealous he is of their close sibling bond. He asks Thalian how he's feeling. Thalian, wary, gives a vague answer. Alice notices this and wonders, does the protagonist know how vile and cruel Ashel truly is? But the real reason for Ashel's visit? To show them a bracelet. A bracelet with an embedded stone. A gift, he says. A gift for Anna. Thalian's eyes narrow. He demands to know who gave it to her. Ashel smiles. Thalian, already thinking, asks if he knows anyone who could have given Anna such a thing. Then, Ashel casually mentions there was a merchant. A merchant found dead that morning. And that's why Ashel is here. He asks Thalian again, did you receive anything that day? Thalian realizes. Ashel is creating a scapegoat. Meanwhile, a girl sits on a bench, singing softly. Behind her, a dangerous-looking man. A shiver runs down her spine. She knows she's in danger. At that same moment, Thalian's head pounds. Alice urges him to go rest. He has no choice but to leave. But before he does, he tells Ashel, I received nothing. If I had, I'd be dead, just like the others. Ashel considers this, then leaves the room, disappointed, still unable to get rid of his brother. Thalian knows this perfectly. His sister, seeing his expression, slaps him. Now rest for real. That night in the palace halls, a maid, wounded, runs for her life. She is being hunted by the very same dangerous man. She swears she did everything she was told. She never spoke a word. She begs for her life, but it doesn't matter. Even though she completed her mission, this coward still intends to eliminate her. He's come too far to let things fall apart now. With cold indifference, he sends her to the afterlife and walks away, without a shred of mercy. Then he stops. Remembers the last time he left a body in the open. He won't make that mistake again. He pulls out a demonic book, summons a beast, and orders it. Devour her? Back to the girl on the bench. The dangerous man approaches. But it's Brian. Bringing the apples to Emily, she takes a bite and asks, how long will we stay here? Brian replies, until the protagonist decides it's safe. At the Banquet of Blood, Thalian learned about his brother's gift. The rage he felt was blazing. He warns Emily she must pay attention to his orders. These places are not safe. She needs to leave for a while. He commands his knight, protect her. And Mia, go with her. He reminds his daughter, it's only for a while. But he remembers that night's horror. He must keep them safe. They discuss how hard the first days were for Mia. But she's better now. They stay in a cabin far from the city. Of course, Emily learns many things, including the dragon daughter of the protagonist. She offers to help protect her. She touches his arm, and suddenly a flash of memory. That night, Emily declares will be the best at keeping her safe. Brian, seeing her determination, smiles. He agrees. Inside Emperor Valtirian's chamber, his son explodes with rage. His evidence was not enough. The Emperor rims him. His decision is final. The Empire will move forward. Louie doesn't care that Valtirian is his father. He calls him weak, a coward before the kingdom of Garum. It is the last straw. The Emperor fires a blast of light, but Louie dodges. Valtirian tells him, you cannot afford enemies in Garum. If you do, you will jeopardize our borders with the demon realm. You cannot rule the continent. If it means sacrificing countless lives, that is why you are unfit to be emperor. Louis refuses to accept it. He will not let his father free the accused. He insists the evidence is clear. But his father already knows about the day's stone. Louis stiffens. His father wasn't supposed to know. Valtirian judges his actions. He's always been like this. Louis, now more desperate, denies everything. But the emperor only looks at him with disappointment. Celine is the better choice to rule. Now, get out of my sight. Louis boils with rage. Celine, that name will rule over him. His mind snaps. He storms to her room, kicks the door open. Leximus stands in his way. She needs to rest. Louie doesn't care. He punches Leximus. Celine screams at her brother. He raises his hand, asserting dominance. She glares. What do you plan to do, you idiot? He chuckles, a hint of madness in his voice. Celine isn't surprised. I just want to talk. Leximus rises, warns, if you hurt her, prince or not, I will strike you down. Louis laughs, then threatens her and her entire family. Celine steps forward. Enough. She asks him what he wants to talk about. Louis notices. She looks more confident than before. It makes him uneasy. She brings up the stone, the necklace she received. Louis is stunned by what she just said. Even though she was forced not to reveal anything before, the emperor knew that gem was not ordinary, nor was it cheap, and especially the stone embedded within. He explained its power, mentioned the supposed merchants, and their sudden disappearances. Celine only watches him, surprised. He asks again, Did your brother give you anything? The princess, nervous, shakes her head. No. He sighs, and accepts it. Seeing that her father already knows about the stone, she asks him, Then free Anna. Her father reassures her. Anna is no longer a suspect. But Celine wonders, why can't she tell her father everything she knows? Because doing so would put the lives of those she loves in danger. That was the agreement she chose. Louis, satisfied by her silence, still feels a sense of defeat. He wonders, does she know what he's done? She asks him to leave. She's busy. Louis hesitates. Who could be more important than him? Obviously, the protagonist. He apologizes for interrupting. Louis is shocked. He never sensed his presence. But Thalian heard everything. Louis demands to know, How long have you been hiding? Thalian corrects him. You just never noticed me. The prince takes offense at his tone. Thalian, with the most defiant attitude possible, smirks. And what will you do about it? Are you going to try and take me out too? Louis stiffens. He realizes his sister's engagement to Thalian might actually be serious, which means he cannot afford to have the son of his father's best friend as his enemy. Ashel's warning echoes in his mind. Thalian unsettles him. Louis knows he's hiding something big, something that terrifies him. Now, he finally understands what Ashel meant that day. That feeling of intimidation. Thalian gives off. Louis stands up. It was just a joke. And leaves, looking like a fool in front of Thalian. Not exactly the behavior expected from someone once called the Mad Emperor. As he leaves, he half-heartedly apologizes to Leximus for punching him. The apology does not sound sincere, but still, the air feels a little lighter once he's gone. Leximus thanks Thalian, but Thalian thinks to himself, she doesn't act like the greatest swordswoman on the continent. Instead, he gives Celine credit for her courage. But Celine knows the truth. Thalian was the one with real bravery. By making Louis believe they were together, he protected her, at least for now. And then, he leaves. Celine feels a rush of excitement. Leximus says his goodbyes. Elsewhere, the prince tries to figure out how to fix everything. Ashel's plan failed everywhere. Louis listens, hearing about all the disasters unfolding. Watching his friend mourn his failure, Ashel failed to be the savior of the empire. But then a man arrives. It wasn't all bad. It's Boris, the man who helped these two maniacs. He informs the prince he's still carrying out Ashel's mission. Then he mentions something. Emily disappeared. He asks, so where's the success? Boris pulls out a magic prism and reveals they've underestimated the people around Celine. The prism records mana used in battle. Most of their magic is ordinary, but this one is rare and dangerous. Then he shows them it's the mana of a demonic sword, which means someone in Selen's circle possesses that sword. Meanwhile, a plate of exotic food sits on the table. Brian feels overwhelmed watching everyone eat, but what disturbs him most? No one says a word. He swears he saw the food. Move. Then the protagonist stands up. It's time for him to leave. Emily hates that they have to meet in secret, but it's the only way he can make sure they're safe. Though he has people guarding the perimeter, he knows. This place is the safest on the continent. Before he leaves, Emily tells him, you have to come back. Brian also bids him farewell. As Thalian steps outside, a voice speaks. You have a nice family. He stops, looks up. It's Lily. She wants to know, how the hell did you know everything that was going to happen? Thalian only gives her a single warning. Don't dig. Too deep. But Lily, Thalian is too unusual to ignore. Okay, guys, we'll end it here for today. We'll continue the story in the next video. This series will have several short chapters, but if you want to keep reading, check the pinned comment below for all the details. If you liked the video, a like and a good comment help me a lot to keep bringing you more content. That said, a big thank you, take care, and see you next time.